Warrior, where do we start? Let's talk about Netflix. Netflix, you know what? They have been flying under our noses, under our radar, for far too long, but it's time to break it down. Our great ally, Melissa Henson, writes a fantastic article, which I'll link in the body of this video, about the programming directed at children on Netflix for the past several years. She points out for the past 3 years, for example, most child programs have binary characters, trans characters, gay characters, same sex parents. But here's the kick, it's not that we are, well, let me break it down for you, against any of that. It does not belong in toddlers, and young children's programming. This is something where parental consent, parental autonomy fits in. So I want to give you a couple of examples. There was a bit of a fuss a couple of years back. There was a movie called Cuties, and it kind of came and went, and everybody for about 48 hours was up in arms about it, and then there was never any follow-up. If there had been follow-up, okay, then we would have seen these other programs such as Strawberry Shortcake, with these characters in them now. And the other thing is, Cuties was about a dance troupe and these little girls dancing very suggestively when they did tryouts, makeup, costuming. But it wasn't just that fact. It was that the casting call for that movie Cuties, they put, my understanding, thousands upon thousands of girls through the casting call and were asking them to twerk and gyrate suggestively. So therein lies exploitation. But then again, their parents or guardian, whoever brought them to this casting call, allowed that. So you can see how these issues are very complicated. They're not just, black and white. But the wake-up call from Netflix is, it's time to really put the hammer down on them. It's time for you to teach your child about these issues should you share. But what's happening is because we are in such an overwhelming environment, we are in such a fragmented marketplace as far as what's going on in the entertainment world. We cannot rely on programming put out aimed at children that even has age suggestions. Listen, we learned with the App Store Accountability Act with Apple and what's going on there, that their ratings at Apple do not match. For instance, when it says, suitable for 8 plus, when most of their content, whether it's 4, 8, 12, had sexual content in it. And I know parents rely on ratings like we used to rely on for movies. But currently, Netflix has over 2 million minutes. That translates into about 36,000 hours of programming that uploads approximately 700,000 hours Netflix is uploading every day. That's what we know about. It's probably even higher. So again, in this world we live in, it's very overwhelming. Who could possibly be on top of every single thing, pre-screen every single program and sit down and watch it before you hand it to your child? You can't. But be aware that this is going on, and be aware the days of, putting a cartoon on for your child may be over, probably are over, because as we've uncovered the content in these children's programmings, we learn to look as parents for the Y for young, or Y7, which means, suitable for 7 plus, or G or PG, right? That's been around for a long time. But the ratings are no longer matching the programming. So when a parent sees an animated program, for instance, on Netflix, you know this, and it says, Y7, they think, okay, it's suitable for 7-year-olds and up. And they can't be blamed for this. This is the trick that Netflix is imposing upon society. Remember, it's always profit over people. And not only that, they're doing this also for the other fact of advertisers, because they rely heavily in this media world now, which is so broken down and different. They need to make money. How do you make money today? Advertising. So if they're fooling with the ages, they'll get more advertising age appropriate, for those type of products. But for instance, I want to talk about, there's something called Dead End Paranormal Park. Now, this show's been out for a couple of years, but let me give you a quote from that. Listen, it's called, now this is rated TVY7, okay? Dead End Paranormal Park. It's not the park. It's me. I'm trans, and everybody at school knows, and everybody at home knows. And being here, it's like I just can't be Barney and I can choose if and when I tell people. I've never been happier. And that's saying something when I spent the day chased by terrifying zombie mascots. Pugsy reminded me how important it is to live your life without an apology. So I think I've got to give living here a shot, don't you? Now, this is directed, this is a little girl in the animation, okay? Dead End Paranormal Park. And I remember talking about this a couple of years ago, and then it just went by the wayside. But it's pushing this pro-trans agenda on kids. And again, it's advertised for 7-year-olds, so parents beware. But all of the Netflix shows, and one of my favorites, Strawberry Shortcake. So they're using children's cartooning. They're fooling the parents, they're fooling the advertisers, but even their Jurassic World, they have same-sex relationships with the LGBTQIA+ agenda. Again, we at the Warriors are not against any of that for adults, right? Or for parents to decide. But why unleash this? So none of this agenda has been forgotten. It hasn't been talked a lot about in the last year, right? We have to get back to it because people have to understand what's going on. Netflix. Strawberry Shortcake. Berry in the Big City introduces children to lime chiffon's two fathers. Banafee, a transgender character, and Raisin Cane, who is non-binary. Banafee enters a drag show and says, as a trans Berry, I love living out loud as my most authentic self, and I wanted to dress as bold and unique as I am, which, let's face it, is a tall order. So, look, and I know this is not appropriate. It seems since the day of Cuties, which I have to look it up, was 3 or 4 years ago, and everybody made that splash. Everybody forgot about it, but now we're back on Netflix, and they've only increased their programming directed towards children. So let's think about before you put that iPad in front of the child, or you sit them in front of that TV set, or that computer screen. Understand this is going on. It's not going away. And who do you want to teach your children? Predators or you? Take a stand. Look into Netflix. Boycott. Don't turn it on. Turn it off. But understand, there is a war on for your children. It is always profit over people. Don't let your child be the product. Community creates change. With the Warriors, go out each and every day and be a warrior.